My PhD program at Boston University was in a mixture of psychology and pastoral counseling. They had a program that involved two departments, the academic psych department and the pastoral counseling service that was on the same campus. I was accepted into a special program each year. I think it was 8 guys, there were only guys in the program, were chosen who were considered the 8 most likely to be really good professional therapists. And we were invited to a more intensive program where we had much closer supervision. But we also were encouraged, it wasn't exactly required, but we were encouraged to get into therapy ourselves. They accepted the Freud's idea that you shouldn't be doing therapy without having been analyzed yourself. So I was seeing a psychiatrist about once a week. One morning I woke up and realized I had had a dream about the psychiatrist, and it was a sexual dream. And my wife and I had been married for 5 years at least by then, and we always talked about our dreams. She's a psychiatric nurse, so we were both in fields where dreams were seen as important. And I told her I had a weird dream last night. I dreamed that I had sex with my psychiatrist. And she laughed and said, well, you definitely should talk about it with him. It's probably a transference dream and you should share it with him. So later that day I'm sitting in the waiting room and kind of dreading the session because it's going to be awkward to talk to him about dreaming that I had sex with him. But another client had gone in, and then soon I was called. When that session was over, I was called in to see him. I talked about some totally unrelated issue that was a genuine issue that was bothering me. I don't remember what it was. I talked at that at first because I wasn't ready to go into this, and then eventually I said, I need to tell you a dream I had last night, and in the dream I'm in bed with you, and then I realize that we're going to have sex together, and it's very exciting to me. And while I'm saying this, he's moving his chair back. Just a little bit, but each time I say something more, he moves further back. And I start thinking, this guy isn't ready for this. He's got more problem with it than I do. So I just didn't push it. But it struck me funny. He certainly didn't share his own feelings about it, but it was very obvious that he wasn't comfortable. Mm-hmm. Part of my decision to continue to see him was a recognition that he, at that time, very few psychiatrists or psychologists or helping professions knew anything academic about homosexuality, and he wouldn't have had any training on how to deal with this kind of issue. So in that respect, beside the fact that he was a helpful clinician, I felt sort of okay about him. I didn't think he was terrible, but I sure wasn't going to bring up this issue. And it wasn't until later that I recognized that this was a really important part of me that I needed to address and accept. Also, because I was in a training program, I had looked at the statistical manual and this DSM, at that time DSM-3, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. And at that time, homosexuality was considered a psychological illness. So he was in keeping with the time. When I later had experiences and became clear I was bisexual, I looked back at that experience and felt that was validation that that it had been there all along.